So the finals beta just ended, but with that we have some brand new updates, as well as a potential release date with some actual evidence to back that, and even a new event surrounding the open beta. We got a lot to talk about. What's up world, should be back in the researching on all things the final. Okay, so let's just hop right into it. Let's get into what the potential release date is, and we have this backed with actual evidence. So we have a few things that correspond here, and I found this thread on the actual Reddit page, and a user by the name of the Space Face actually put all this together, and I've combined this with also doing some further research into this as well. Now these people actually do have some credibility. They were able to predict when the open beta would most likely, or the next beta would most likely take place. Now they predicted this based on a financial call that Nexon is having on November 9th. And the kind of obvious speculation there is that they wanted to get this in before their financial earnings as well as their investor call, which is what a lot of companies do. They're going to put out stuff before their quarterly earnings or right at the very end. That way they can kind of boost those last minute earnings and show their stakeholders that they're doing financially well and that they're seeing an improvement, and also showing that the finals is financially beneficial. Now this investor call that's happening on November 9th could also give us the official release date. Again, this is through Nexon Investor Relations, and on November 9th, I will more than likely put an updated comment down below with the investor call, as well as do a potential updated video. Now we've also had some additional things there, so that's not it. We have a lot more information with that. Now there's been some hints from the community managers as well as staff on the actual Discord. They've been emoting under people's posts with the kind of emote soon. There's been a lot of soon TM postings and things of that nature. Now the overall speculation is around the start of December. And the reason being, the first one kind of major here, which I definitely do agree with. Now this is more of an opinion take here, but it's that Modern Warfare 3 is here releasing in a few days. And so the hype there kind of has to chill down a bit, and that's probably why it's not going to release in November, as this gives plenty of time for that hype around the Modern Warfare 3 because everybody plays the newest game, or at least what's kind of hot at that specific moment. There's several games that I could think of that I can't really remember that released during pinnacle times, like even Titanfall releasing next to Call of Duty. People kind of reminisce on that being a huge mistake of that game releasing way too close to the Call of Duty release and just not waiting it out. There's also a game that I really enjoyed, which was Hyperscape, and it kind of released when Apex, Fortnite, and a few other games were at their pinnacle. And yeah, it just wasn't the time for that. I think Hyperscape would actually do really well in modern times, especially right now. At least given prior to the new Warzone and the kind of Apex season update and Fortnite, they're kind of at a low point in my opinion. So releasing at this specific time into December actually does make sense for them. Now a big thing to note here is that the Game Awards actually happen on December 7th. Now some cool information here aside from it being on December 7th is that Embark has historically attended the Game Awards event every year so far. And in fact, they even showed off Arc Raiders last year at the Game Awards. And I actually do remember that game pretty vividly, as it did pique my interest. And so the speculation is there that they're going to drop it on the same day as the Game Awards. Something to akin to what Apex did back in the day. And if you guys also remember, Hi-Fi Rush actually did this same thing at the Microsoft presentation. And for both of those games, they actually did very, very well for player retention and as well as kind of getting the word out there. I'm honestly surprised most games or majority of other game companies have not tried this strategy, so I'd be really impressed if the finals did this, as I really do think this is the way to launch a game. And again, this is not all we have there to kind of speculate on this date. The developers have been kind of said on Discord a little bit around, and there's been a few comments here and there that they needed a few weeks from the closed beta to actually fix things up and get the game ready. Now the game also doesn't currently have an ESRB rating, which does take about 2 to 3 weeks to be issued, and is also required, of course. The game also does need final approval from Sony and Microsoft, which can take 2 to 3 weeks, and so we might possibly see the final build here released in the next week or so. Now Embark Studios, the company actually behind the game, is in Sweden, and it's very common for most game studios to take Christmas off around the 18th of December, so they likely won't release anytime close to this date or anywhere even in the Christmas period. Now again, we have the notation here that early December will have no competition from any other FPS games. And to tie things off here, the person here has said that they have confirmation from 2 community managers that the game will release in 2023. And that kind of ties the knot around everything, is why would it need to be in December, and if there's this break period, why would they not just wait till January? However, we do have a game called X-Defiant that's going to be coming out sometime soon in February area, it seems like. And from all what I've seen too on the comments and stuff like that, I have seen that it's probably going to get a 2023 release as well, as Nexon has some other big games coming out in 2024 like The First Descendant. There's also a few others like Arc Raiders, So I definitely think they're going to want this out in 2023, and so that gives us a limit from now until 2023. And if we put everything in together, and they don't have the ESRB rating, but they need to have it out before the 18th, and then we also have the Game Awards happening, it's either, yeah, going to release at the Game Awards, or the release date will be announced at the Game Awards, and it will probably be a few days later to maybe a week later at max. Now, the speculation is that this is also going to launch as Season 0 and not Season 1, which, yeah, it seems like most games now launch as a Season 0 quote-unquote battle pass there. So probably see a Season 0, maybe they just call it a Season 1, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Now, just a further note here, if you do want to keep up with the Game Awards and what's going on with that there, that is happening December 7th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time and 6:30 p.m. CST. I'll try to add some links down below. It's probably going to be on the Game Awards Twitch channel as well as the YouTube. YouTube seems to have obviously better compression with the live stream, and it also is quicker, I've noticed, than Twitch. Twitch seems to always be behind with live streams, only by a few seconds, but yeah, there is that to note there. Also, if you did want to keep up to date with the Nexon investor call and kind of see what's going on with the financial results, just see maybe when we get a potential release date, that is happening on November 9th, 1 a.m. Eastern Time. The kind of time issue there is that it's happening in Japan, of course, and this will be at 3 p.m. their time, so that's why you're seeing it so late for us in the U. Now, some late minute mentionables here. We do have that submission and event thing that's going on right now, and it looks like the finals is actually going to put together a highlight reel, and this is my speculation that they're going to showcase this possibly at the Game Awards. And so they do have a highlight submission guide here if you do have any clips that you want to submit to them. So they do have a notation on the specific guide for the resolution and kind of output res as well as the codec format. I do wonder if they're going to regulate the actual resolution of the game itself, or if they're just concerned about the output resolution, so you could technically render a video in another video editor and scale it up to 1080p here. So if you realistically had a 720p video for some reason, or you shadow play at 720p, or that's kind of the Xbox is at, then I'm guessing all that matters is probably the output resolution, as I don't think they're going to regulate that as much, especially when you have all these dynamic resolutions and DLSS. So yeah, as long as your output resolution is at 1080p, and I'm assuming it doesn't look too grainy, as they probably want to scale it up for the HD screens. And it also looks like here that they have a max length of 60 seconds as well as a max file size of 500 megabytes. I'll leave a link to this down below, so if you do actually want to submit your highlight reel to them and kind of see if it will get on the big screen, and also anything else I talked about in this video, as well as the investor call, the Game Awards schedule, things like that, I'm going to link to that all down below. Another last minute mentionable here is that the game reached 7.5 million players, which is just absolutely astonishing. These are, like, honestly, I think it's Apex numbers and close in comparison to the actual dates on when Apex reached that length. Although Apex might have been a bit more, but I do think we'll hit those Apex numbers if they do showcase this or show the release date at the Game Awards. All in all, that should about covered for today's video. If you like, subscribe. Until next, deuces.